Good morning, everyone, and welcome to our time together. I'm Lori Lamantia, and I'm here with the hot pink Trisha Fish. She's got a beautiful
Hi.
pink shirt on
Hi.
today.
I know, yes.
And welcome to Everyday Prosperity. And today we're going to talk about choosing to shine and claiming our gifts. I was listening to a recording last week by Archangel Raphael, and she was talking about how the energies are so available to us right now, especially with Lionsgate coming up and the window, everything's like wide open for heaven on earth. And she was saying that there's so many gifts that haven't been claimed because we're not shining and feeling the gifts and knowing they're ours. There's still the doubt and am I good enough? And I don't feel good. I have all these aches and pains. And so the things that our minds put attention on are the things that get our attention. And instead of being in that shining, available, abundant, magical place, choosing to let the gifts just come because they're available always, we're just letting them kind of bounce off of us and hang out in the ethers instead of claiming them and pulling them down. So I texted Trisha and I'm like, we should talk about choosing to shine, choosing to shine, knowing we're shining. We have that and that building that muscle because we keep being I keep feeling it's important that I build that muscle because I'm going to need it. I'm going to need it like extremely buff, you know, because you go to dinner with your, family or somebody who doesn't have the same thoughts, and you just want to say, "What are you talking about?" And instead, holding that love light and knowing and blessing them and knowing that infinite intelligence has this figured out. I just have to choose to radiate my magnificence. Does that make sense?
It does. It does. And it sounds lovely.
But
Choosing to radiate my magnificence sounds
right?
absolutely beautiful. Yes.
Yes. And it is. It's
Yeah.
a it's an inside job, right? It's not something no one's going to give us permission to do it.
Right. Right. No, that's absolutely true.
There's nothing that's going to come along and go, oh, you did so good. And of course, that's happening, but there's nothing that's going to give us more permission than, I love you. Of course, you're magnificent. Why don't you see what we see, on the other side? Why don't you agree to what we agree to on the other side? Um, and I'm not sure I don't know, for me, it's some kind of weird historical martyr thing in my genetics, but choosing to shine, making that conscious choice to radiate from our hearts is a really important thing right now.
Definitely. And, you know, we talk about this a bit. If we've grown up in specific religious traditions, we're not taught to go after how you shine. We're pretty much taught to work for forgiveness, for for the opposite, for how sinful we are. And
Right.
there's still commercials on TV, Billy Graham's son, where he does a prayer, but it starts with,
Yeah, we're broken.
no, yeah, we're all sinners,
Right?
right? And
I
it's like
know.
mute
I
that.
know.
Like
And they get us young. They get us young. They teach us in Sunday school and all that stuff. I mean, it is ingrained. And I was just doing a meditation yesterday, and they were talking about the drinking the waters of forgetfulness, and kind of being born here. I shouldn't say kind of. Duality is drinking the water of forgetfulness, but also you can drink the water of remembering, water,
mm,
charging your water with love and light. And every time you take a sip of water, going, I remember I'm choosing to shine. I've got it so going on. And then the law of attraction takes over and then all of a sudden you start to feel it more and more and you've got momentum going.
right. I always used to, and then I stopped for a while, but I've started again before I teach a class. Um, just saying a prayer to all of these beautiful angels and energies around me. Just let my ego get out of the way
Mm,
so I can
yeah.
just be here and enjoy this and see the people who are here and feel them. And it just feels really good to do that. It feels like recognizing I'm more than my fear about being a good enough teacher.
Oh, thank you for saying that. I
Right.
had that pop into my head this week. The only thing to fear is fear itself. And fear does what kind of creep in there. Not kind of, it creeps in and in our minds and our egos grab
Right.
us and well, what about that? What about that? What about that? I get it. I thank you for trying to keep me safe, but you're also keeping me from experiencing that presence of enjoying the moment. 100%.
Yes, exactly. Right. Because there's nothing in this moment that I need to be safe from.
Right.
Right.
It's just a bad, yeah, like an unquestioned habit.
Right.
And there's a lot of them. We've talked
Yeah.
about this a lot. But
Yes.
and if you can make a habit to be afraid, you can make a habit to shine, right?
Right. Right.
Right?
Right.
If
It,
we
it,
I mean if they kicked off church every time with and maybe that's why maybe Baptists, you sing and hallelujah and woo woo, get the energies flowing. It makes perfect sense. Why would you start?
right.
Oh no.
Right. Right. Here
Um,
I am, the sinner again. Right.
right. And I was really touched, and we're gonna name this "It's Time to Claim Your Gifts" by Shining, because I do believe there's tremendous abundance, tremendous health, vitality, excitement, community, joy, love, all those things, and boy, that makes me sad when she said, "Oh, and there's so many gifts that aren't being claimed."
Yeah, that is, well, yes, that makes me sad too. And one of the things I'm grateful for actually is being as old as I am, is I can look back at my life and say, yes, there have been times where everything just seemed to be a shit show. And then they changed. And you know
100%.
that right, it's part of the up and down of life is stuff goes away, you rename yourself, you rebrand yourself, and you look for those gifts. Like
Yeah.
I'm not going anywhere. I'm coming back.
And you don't
Let's
bail. You don't bail on
right.
life.
No,
When you were saying it like that, it reminds me of investing. The last few weeks, the market's just been getting smashed. And I'm like, ugh. And you can feel yourself get all scared, like, oh no, no. And then one I was listening to this one investor guy, and he's like, most of my career I spent trying to get people not to bail out of the market, because it comes back. It comes back and it comes back better. And I think there's some wisdom in that for us, that when stuff is going not so great, we want to bail, or we want to get extra
right,
afraid, or we want to recluse. And that's when you go, I'm not bailing, and I'm going to stay invested. I'm going to stay invested in choosing to shine and allowing my gifts and continue to meditate and remember that we're always held in that bubble of love. It's one of my favorite meditations we used to do in the yoga classes was the egg. You put the egg,
oh,
the egg all around you, and I'm
the
like,
golden egg,
put the
right.
golden egg around you and just stay in your, that protected place, in that loved place, because
Right,
that's where that, and then you feel so connected to that love place that it's so easy to shine then.
right. That's true. Yeah. And it just, and why would you not want that? Why would you want to be in that place of fear and doubt and cynicism instead of in a place of, wow, I have all these gifts. I want to shine. I want to bring them out. I want to bring them out
Yeah.
and show everybody and share them.
I know, I've been
Yeah.
thinking about that, and I think it's because, like you said, life kind of does its thing sometimes, and you get the cloud, the gloom cloud, and you don't feel like there's gifts, and you don't,
Right.
you think, oh, life forgot about me, or and then you start, doing all the double, triple, quadruple thinking. And I know that's why when they say do the meditations, sit in the grace of love and let it seep into you so that you know what it feels like and you have access to it as best as you can. And that's why we told
Right.
to pick the word choose, because we're choosing so much throughout the day. I don't think we
Mhm.
realize how much we're choosing. And I'm like, why am I choosing that? It's a bad habit to feel like poor me. And, why is my foot not getting better? All those weird things that we want to, and then I look and I go, oh, my foot not getting better is teaching me presence. Every step I take is painful. So it's teaching me presence. I'm going to be in the present moment. And I used to just, I call it Neanderthal walk. I just slop through walking instead of being present and holding myself up and feeling the force flow through me. And if we can find those gems in the middle, then all of a sudden we become grateful, become thankful, and we realize that love has always had our back and our front and our sides and our top and our bottom.
Right, right. Yeah, when you start looking at challenges in your life as ways to help move you and change you instead of everything coming to attack you, it makes a big difference in how long it lasts and how you respond to it. And your response to it, I mean, if it's negative and dark, you're going to keep attracting that stuff.
Totally. And we
Right,
talked about
right,
that a couple weeks ago, is life happening for you or, to you? And
right.
yeah, that choice that it's happening for you, that's like that was paradigm shifting for me. And I'm still, honestly, still trying to teach myself that that's a muscle in and of itself too, to not look at, like life was trying to beat me up or punish me for not being good.
Right,
It's all that stuff you talked about earlier. And I'm sorry to say, it makes me keep forgetting, and
right,
or
right.
the habit of thinking that way makes me keep forgetting.
Right. Well, don't forget that's neuroscience too. It's the way our brains are framed is the habits and patterns that we repeat the most are the ones that become automatic, which is why we keep talking about you have to build the muscle. You have
Right.
to pay attention, notice, and like you said, then take the time, meditate, or go for a walk outside. Sometimes I find it hard to just sit and meditate, but going outside, take a walk, that always is,
Yeah.
yeah, smell the
Lately, my
flower.
go-to is music. Turn on some fun music and dance around.
That
Let the
is fun.
let the beat and the energy uplift you. And of course, I hope people aren't feeling like we're saying, and if you don't shine, you don't get the gifts. It's the same, it's that
Yeah.
same thing we do to ourselves as humans. And that's where the unconditional part is always so important in my mind. And I think I've mentioned this once or twice on the podcast, but one time I was meditating and I heard the word unconditional love, Lori, but you need to learn more about unconditional. That I understand love. I just don't understand unconditional love in that I can't imagine I mean, most of life is conditioned love. If you do this, I love you.
Right.
If all that reciprocation and transaction, it's really hard to comprehend that the love source is unconditional.
Right. No, that's true. It's again, it's because that's not how we were taught. It's not what we were taught
No,
um, when we were
no.
growing up. Right.
And it is quite a journey. And I think if people are listening to us right now, they understand that the journey is an inward journey, and it's we're not going to get that kind of unconditional. Well, we might, from our pets or from loved ones, but
Right.
that's not where you look for the long term, because people change, things change, but that love source is is steady, forever unchanging. Um,
Yes. And if you've ever had an experience, a direct experience of that, you never forget it.
no,
And you find yourself wanting, I want more of that. I want
right.
to keep coming back to that.
It's one of the reasons why I love the Tantra of Prosperity work that we were doing. The way yoga helps you move into that place and have a felt sense of it. It's not just our minds telling us, it's that felt sense presence. And so, but like you said, it doesn't have to be yoga. I've always felt it really keenly in a meditative yoga practice, like
Right.
tantra
And I,
teachers.
right. I will say too, I'm starting to get more interested in science and what science says. And it supports that yoga does do that. And it's because even when we're doing our postures, it's that awareness of that you're present because you're paying attention to these mindful movements in your body, and that helps lead you to your breath, and that helps lead you into a meditative state. So science is saying what these yogis said a
Right.
million years ago,
Right.
right? It's I think facing what are what is going on in the world right now with culturally what's happening, and just changing the language but honestly saying the same thing,
Right. I
because
know.
again, it's once someone has that experience, it changes everything.
And no
It-
one can change your mind about it either. You're right.
exactly, and you want more. I want more of that. Right.
Yes. And that puts you on the journey that we all ultimately take, either this lifetime or the next, or the next, or the next.
Right.
Yeah. So I thank you. I appreciate that. So, yes, here, what we're talking about is even proven by scientists now. Here's the commercial for why it's a good idea. And I hope everybody's feeling that, we are trying to teach ourselves a new neural pathway by choosing to shine, by choosing to know that we're amazing, unlimited beings. And and when we create enough of a neural pathway, it'll become natural. But we are, for us especially, maybe the kids will come in and they'll have those neural pathways. I think they won't have you're a dirtbag, get over
Exactly.
pathways
Exactly.
grooved in, and you're a sinner, and you're going to spend eternity in hell if you don't do the right things. And oh my God, just on and on and on. Yeah, my neural pathways, I was a good little student. I paid attention. And now I'm trying to rewire my whole brain. It takes a
Right.
lot of time to rewire a brain.
It does, which is why, yeah, if we can start out with this, and we can, I just, it's like the joy of being a grandmother, having grandchildren and seeing them so innocent, and so, they haven't
Right,
decided any of this stuff yet. It's
right,
it's like this wonderful opportunity to have it all just be, yes, you have all these gifts, and
right.
yes, you're
Magical.
special. Right,
Yes,
right.
yes,
And
yes.
I have a new kitten now, and same thing. Watching this kitten just
Mm,
like totally fearless and curious about everything. It just warms my heart. And that's why, coming back to shining, I want to shine like that.
right. You get
I
to
wanna sh-
shine like, well, that's what
Yes,
Jesus said, right? You return to being a little child. Yeah. Oh, look at me. I got my pink shirt on and I'm going to go pick flowers.
that's right. Go water my tomatoes.
Exactly. And play with my kitten. Woo woo.
Right, right. That's right.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
awesome. Oh, beautiful. I see you're holding a book. Do you want to do a reading, or we want to wrap this up?
I love to end with this. Okay, space and spirit. And again, the poet is Steve Taylor. There is a space between breaths when the world stops for a moment and we sense the stillness of spirit flowing through our bodies. There is a space between thoughts when anxiety disappears and we sense the harmony of spirit flowing through our minds. There's a space between words when we silently communicate and sense the oneness of spirit flowing between our souls. There is a space between objects where we gaze into endless emptiness and sense the radiance of spirit flowing through the air. There is a space between lives when our souls are bodiless and boundless, and we sense the eternity of spirit following beyond time. And in the end, when all forms dissolve and all sounds fade into silence, there will be nothing but space and spirit flowing through the universe as one.
Mm, perfect. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you to Steve Taylor for his beautiful poetry.
Beautiful. So he nails it so much. That space is the presence. And then, yeah, your heart radiates and you feel it and you shine.
And you're
Just
connected to everything and you
that.
know it.
Yeah. Wow. Wonderful. Okay, everyone. Well,
All right.
enjoy your week and feel your radiance. Let yourself be in that space between thoughts and let yourself shine and see what gifts want to just drop into your life because you're available. Finally. Oops, sorry. That was for me as much as anyone else. Namaste, everyone. Lots of
Bye,
love to you.
everyone.